Hello, I'm Amanda Steele from CBRE, and in this episode of The Placemakers, we're talking about workspaces, a place where we spend a lot of time. We'll meet businesses who are evolving office spaces to drive culture and foster innovation. You'll see the very best of them here on The Placemakers. The placemaking challenge for multinational organisations is how to build spaces that protect the global brand and values whilst also providing for the local community. Someone who's done just that is Jason Watanaangura from entertainment giant NBCUniversal. I'm here to talk to him about exactly how he's done that. Jason, NBCUniversal have two corporate values around diversity and inclusion. So how do you build a space that accommodates that?
Well, the inclusion piece was really breaking down some of those barriers and celebrating the things we had in common, which was the passion for creating great product and distributing great content, but at the same time respecting the differences for each individual business. Each has a very different history, very different personalities, so we had to accommodate that as well. So what we did in this space, we took away all but 3 of the offices. We put everyone into an open environment, the whole business working on one floor, but we still put the different businesses in separate neighbourhoods, so they could collaborate with the people they normally work with on a day-to-day, but then every other space was shared. So whether it was the communal kitchen, whether it's informal meeting booths, whether it's more formal spaces, it's about giving people choice. And so this is your library? Yes, so this is a quiet corner that we put in so people could get away from their workspace and actually refocus or just take a bit of a time out. Also a sleep pod if someone needs to recharge and take a short rest. I love the sleep pod. And it's used? People use it? Yes, it gets used. So you can close the curtains and shut out the rest of the world? Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I love it. Other new things that we had that we didn't have before, we've built an audio recording suite, we've built a small film studio. And they're all things that we previously had to outsource and go off-site for, and now we've got it all under one roof. It's just a lot more natural and a lot more intuitive, I suppose. Yeah. So yeah, it's doing everything we needed to do. So your people are very passionate about this space, and walking through and speaking to them, you can really see that. Was that straight away when they moved in? Did they love it the second they got here? When we walked in, we wanted to see how they started using the space, and within the first couple of hours of walking around, you could see people having impromptu meetings. Yeah, fantastic. Just dropping down in spaces rather than trying to find booked meeting rooms. It was great to see. Fantastic. And Mia, are a very different brief and a very different workplace to a lot of others that I'm sure you've worked with. How did you bring them along on the journey?
So I mean, obviously engaging with them early on, but also including them in the presentations, making sure that we did listen to them. I think a lot of times that can get missed. There's multifunctional spaces everywhere. So this area transformed into a social gathering space and an event space. And of course an entertainment company, that's very exciting, but requires very different specs than a usual office building. There's a theatre in here, how was that? That was one of the reasons we chose this building, is the top floor had very high ceilings, so we could put it in the right space. We could put in, top-of-the-range sound and projection equipment. But at the same time, we had the challenges of building that inside an office building.
Ain't blue.
We don't really believe it.
NBCUniversal is a brand that's synonymous with entertainment. What I love about this place is that they built a space that engages their people also. ISPT, who own Foy's Arcade, have said that they've designed this place to encourage experimentation. It's a space that's filled with new technology that will shape the workplaces of the future, so I'm excited to see it. ERIN, nice to meet you.
Hi, Amanda, thanks for coming.
Tell me about the space.
Sure, well, it's ISPT's new Customer Experience Centre. There's some really interesting history with this building. One of the first department stores in Melbourne called Foy & Gibson.
Oh, right.
And you're on the site of the rooftop fun park was a collaboration with a circus, so circus equipment was up on this site. In the 80s, floors were added onto this building.
Yeah.
So you're standing on the original rooftop fun park.
And so now it's become a fun park for tech.
It definitely has, and it's a place where we can experiment with our customers now with technology and see what the future might hold.
Great, let's see some more.
Sure. So I'm going to show you what a large screen stitch projection looks like with this 9-metre screen here.
That is amazing.
It is quite amazing. We're going to zoom into Melbourne using hand gestures.
I think what's incredible when you're in Melbourne before, you could see the detail that planners might need to make big decisions, where the parks were. It allows you to have that full visual capture of important data before you make those planning decisions.
Amanda, this is Jeff Jones.
How are you?
CEO of Collective Social Intelligence and Professor of Interaction Design.
This is a great title.
Well, it is. And what we do at CSI is we design and build these kind of spaces. So when we partnered with ISPT and decided on some of the systems, we decided on visualization systems because with visualization, you can do planning faster and particularly you can make decisions about 40% faster.
So Jeff, what are we looking at here?
Well, when we helped ISPT design and build this space, we suggested a number of visualization systems. This is a portfolio planning tool, and what you're seeing on the screen right now is an entire portfolio. It's actually a representation of ISPT's portfolio. Now, if I'm going to go into more of a planning and decision-making mode, I go onto this screen which has a 3D cube on it, and you can see some green dots and some yellow dots and some red dots. So almost immediately you can say, okay, I bet my red dots are the problem area, so maybe I should decide very quickly to hone in and look at those.
So this is effectively replacing a spreadsheet.
It is. It's probably replacing more like 100 spreadsheets. So this is an area that we call our collaboration lounge.
Oh.
And what happens in here is this is a place where we can do design and planning reviews. And for instance, there's this image here.
Yep.
You can take it and you can flick it to the left, and you'll see it come up on the screen over there, and that could be a screen anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
So you imagine that you're in a planning review, you can annotate on this image, and then you can flick it to another part of the world, and that person can then take control of it. And what this really gives you is a way of doing design, planning, and decision-making, and it uses technology that makes that interaction as social as it can be when you can't have everyone in the same place at the same time.
Jeff, thanks so much. I really appreciate the time. I got the inner geek on. I enjoyed myself.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
And ERIN, what a beautiful space. Thank you so much for taking us through.
Thank you. You're welcome.
After the break, all things agile at REA Group and a bird's eye view of Australia's best business park. Some of the world's strongest companies are creating agile workspaces to attract the best people and foster collaboration between them. I've come to Melbourne to see agility in action at the digital media giant REA Group. Tracey, thank you so much for having me in your beautiful workspace.
Oh, you're very welcome.
It's a gorgeous space, very cool. What I really like about it are the variety of spaces.
Yes.
So what was the vision for it when you first came in?
Well, it was to enable people to collaborate. I mean, there's no part of our business where people work in isolation in just one team. There's a lot of work that's cross-team. It could be product, it could be sales, it could be UX design, developers. We work in an agile way, so we needed to have walls where people can do that, and we needed to have a way we could connect to our team in China.
Yeah,
so
right.
a number of the teams, not all of them, but a number of the teams have part of their developers offshore. So you might see there's big TVs, and they're where they are is the team just stands around the TV as though they're part of an extension of a hallway almost. So it was space for people to come together and space for people to do that in all kinds of sizes and very practical for a company that works in an agile way.
It feels very creative. So there's lots of beautiful bright colours and lots of different textures. The walls are covered with information. That's obviously intentional. What other ways do you drive creativity?
I think part of the creativity is allowing people to come together. I think part of it is interesting and different spaces. And I think it's the people we hire too. So people, if you also walked around, the people you would have seen around our hallways, they're in all shapes and sizes, all kinds of age. Sometimes the outfits are interesting. So I think we hire a really eclectic and broad group of people.
Yeah.
And so we needed to have a space that reflected that. And so I think the space reflects us.
Yeah, that's great.
And then there are spaces that are not necessarily highly practical. So, I mean, we do have what's called the garage, and that's people play ping pong. And then that's also a space where people bring pets.
Oh, great.
From Monday to Thursday. Doors have to be closed because that can create a bit of chaos if the doors are open for any length of time. So,
Yep.
but I mean, it's recognizing that our people have all kinds of things they like to do, and if they want some downtime, play PlayStation, that's cool. And actually, lots of people have pets. They love pets.
And you've grown enormously. You've
We
got
have.
so many diverse range of products and services and lots of cool tech. How has the space facilitated that?
So we've changed how we've used some of the space. We created a room downstairs for what we call REA Labs, and that was originally going to be a different type of space, so we changed how we've put different teams together, video conferencing, because we've had more overseas now that we have Asia and a number of countries, so to make it easier to communicate. You don't usually need more desks because people are not always in the office. Numbers of our people are working on, but you need more meeting space.
Yeah, okay.
And that's probably the biggest thing that we've continued to morph and use. And then how spaces are used. So there was a space at the bottom of the stairs, which was kind of a nothing space. Now we've put fake grass and vines, and that's an informal picnic roomy space where people have informal meetings.
Tracey, do you have a favourite space?
I think it's the hub because I love walking in there at lunchtime. People from all of the floors come there, and some people are playing fizzball or whatever that thing is, or people are, having lunch, and there's, 5 different types of cuisine. There's everything from a curry to something else.
Yeah.
And and it's really bright, but I just like the vibe because it's the energy of our people, and when
Yeah.
they're there en masse, it's like, that's us.
Yeah,
and I
great.
think that's cool.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So far, we've focused on workplaces in Australian CBD areas. With growth, more companies are choosing business parks where they can access more space. And with great design, they can be a popular choice for staff as well. Caribbean Park, just 20 minutes from Melbourne CBD, recently won the award for Best Business Park from the Property Council of Australia. That's as a result of its beautiful placemaking, and it's luring top talent here as a result. So let's have a look. Ben, nice to see you.
You too, Amanda. Thank you for coming down.
Now tell me where we are.
Well, this is the Great Caribbean Park, part of our family business for about 75 years today.
75 years in the same family.
Yes, yeah, over 3 generations.
So what strikes me in this commercial precinct is the detail around the landscaping, which is not what I'm used to seeing in a business park at all.
Sure, well, look, it is a massive part of what we do here and what we have done. Generous zones, great landscaping, places where we can have outdoor meetings.
Yeah, right. Or do some exercise.
Absolutely.
Ben, it's the spaces between buildings that I think really make for great placemaking, and you've really significantly contributed to that here.
Yeah, thank you, Amanda. When creating buildings and environments for some of the multinationals that we have here, that was one of our wishes back when we were looking at the plans to create these really unique spaces that no one has before.
So with the family, obviously when your grandfather was developing it, he wasn't calling it placemaking.
No, but I think it's existed for quite some time. I think it goes back many, many years where my father was involved in creating an environment for the market and gardens area. A lake that was put in for the boat building business. People came in and enjoyed the surrounds of the beautiful landscaping we were sort of providing naturally anyway.
So Ben, obviously not finished yet.
No, Amanda, this is stage 3, a further 16,000 square metres of office area.
Yeah, fantastic. It's a big space. How much more do you have to do?
It's about 200 acres of vacant land at the moment.
Wow.
We're going to build another 45 buildings, similar to what you've seen before.
Fantastic. So still with that strong commitment to placemaking.
100%. This, what we've walked through before, these spaces, they're going to be better again.
Wow, fantastic. Coming up, why WeWork have attracted 250,000 members and John Wardle's stunning new design at Monash University. organisations are finding ways to empower their people to work when, how and where they like. It's called agile working, and I'm really looking forward to talking to WeWork, the leaders in this space. So, Walter, you've had incredible growth at WeWork. Where did you start?
So WeWork started in 2010 in New York City. WeWork didn't want to just design beautifully, organized workspaces, but truly build a global community. A community where you come in as an individual, as the me, but you are part of a global community, which is the we. So at the moment we have almost 250,000 members globally. We're in 72 cities in 22 countries.
Yeah.
The beauty of it is when you join WeWork in any country, you actually have access to any of our locations in the world. So New York is by far our largest market, as that's where we started.
Yeah.
With over 52 locations in New York City at the moment. But London was the second international market. But now you find us in Tokyo, Shanghai, and here in Sydney, here in Australia, we're in Sydney, Melbourne. I'm very excited that we've announced our third market, which will be Brisbane, opening later this year.
There's a variety of people here. There's a real buzz. You can really feel it, which is exciting when you walk in.
I'm glad you feel the energy.
I really do. What kind of people are coming to WeWork?
Yeah, so our community consists of the gamut of entrepreneurs, from freelancers, early stage entrepreneurs, but actually enterprise organizations, which we consider companies that have 1,000 employees or more.
Yeah.
Currently are the fastest growing segment within WeWork.
So in WeWork, there's a lot of variety of space. So we've got this big open space here. We've also got some smaller breakouts. What's the need for that?
So we see that people still want to have their personal space in order to head down, do their work, and really get productive. But then the moment they step out of their private office, they're exposed to a community that is set up and designed an amazing shared facilities, from shared meeting rooms, levels of play, and in this location, obviously, the beautiful balconies as well.
So you talk a lot about culture at WeWork. How do you deliver that for such a diverse group of people?
Everything we do is centered around that community aspect. So it's how we design our buildings, how we bring people together, both in our spaces, but through technology as well. And then our programming in terms of events, which is run by our community team, and they are the heart and soul of the operation, the drumbeat of the company. Space is essential to bring people together. And we see that, and WeWork is leading that shift.
After the break, John Wardle's stunning new design at Monash University. The new learning and teaching building at Monash University is an example of how beautiful design is also a great investment. This building has more than doubled lecture attendance, improved the relationships between academics and students, and attracts more than 50% of all people who visit the campus. This is one of my favourite spaces, and I'm delighted to have architect John Wardle on the show. John, you've designed this beautiful learning and teaching building for Monash University. You're deservedly very proud of it. Tell me about what the concept was for you when you were designing the space.
Well, probably as a starting point, I and many others designed this very complex and engaging and massive building.
And John, it's a vast building. It's an enormous building, but
Massive.
It doesn't feel big inside. You've created a diversity of space.
To have the status of a large footprint was remarkable. It allowed us to build a very broad, low-rise building, which is wonderful for interaction with the world beyond, the ingress of light, and then cross-ventilation, all the things that we think draw together to become a very healthy form of building.
When you walk into the building, I was very struck by the kilns. Can you tell me about those?
Well, the kilns are a part of a larger essay, really. This is, again, the idea of blurring the boundaries. Unlike many buildings, it's almost the exterior of the building has been drawn to the interior. It's a building that has set within its landscape, both the constructed landscape and the earlier landscapes that must have once been here. So it has a series of landscape patterns that have been drawn into the building. And When I talked before about human movement, it fascinates us the way a building must apply itself to a larger master plan that's been set for this. And one of the main pedestrian thoroughfares comes right through the heart of the building.
Yes, right.
So you notice where the kilns are that you've remarked upon is actually one of the intersections where we have to actually merge the activities of the building itself with this thoroughfare space that links the rest of the campus.
Yes, right. And John, universities like workplaces are working in more agile ways. You don't need to be within a building as much as you used to be. So how does this space respond to that?
Well, it's interesting because really we can download lectures now. The need or the yearning for collaborative experience can still best be driven by the activities within a university campus.
Yes.
So it's important in same in the commercial world where now with the flexible work environments and flexible hours and settings, many people can work from home. There's still got to be something in that collaborative activity that draws you away from technological exchange and brings you into a more social setting.
Well, this is a building that draws me in. It makes me very attracted to it. I can see why people want to be here. Thanks so much, John.
Oh, good, Amanda. Great to talk to you.
Thanks. Designing and managing spaces for people is the essence of great placemaking, and we've seen how important that is in the workplace. Building owners are investing in great design to grow global brands and accommodate local culture. Collaboration is growing with technology, and agility is allowing people to work when, how, and where they like. These places make us happier and more productive too. I'm Amanda Steele from CBRE. See you next time.